So finally, let's look at tips for getting started. How do you start knowledge management projects? And if you're like me, during my practitioner days, I had many starts and stops on my knowledge management projects. I've built databases, I've offered to pay for knowledge, and really none of those were successful. So here are some really grassroots tips for getting started with knowledge management. First of all, pilot with a project for a new or changed service. So don't try to boil the ocean. Don't try to capture all the knowledge at once. Pick an important project that's in development and start collecting the knowledge prior to production. Use service transition as your gateway to collect what's come before and to be able to provide building blocks for service operations. So start with something that's manageable and start with something that's new. Build it from the top down. So look at your presentation layer before you look at your data layer. That will also help you understand what knowledge is valuable, how it's going to be used, how it essentially becomes the right information at the right time to the right recipient. Avoid terms that are too technical or difficult to understand. So when you're starting to go through the documentation process, encourage your staff to avoid using acronyms or very, very technical terms that the recipient of the knowledge may not be able to understand, and it may be more costly to have a later explanation, or the knowledge may be dismissed as being in a different language. Make sure your roles and responsibilities are very clear so that everyone who is a contributor to knowledge management within IT, within your suppliers, even within your business sector, understands what they're supposed to do and when they're supposed to do it. Make sure you have controls for contributing and verifying knowledge on an ongoing basis. Today's accurate knowledge may be obsolete tomorrow, so there does need to be activities and controls for being able to review, filter, and assess that knowledge. Interview your staff, your users, and your partners, and try to collect their tribal knowledge. Again, great opportunity for social networking to be there. And then try to build a friendly front end, like a portal or a wiki or some type of query tool that's not intimidating, that is intuitive, and that is in plain language based on the culture of your organization. And then the final tip is you really don't have to consolidate your tools unless it makes sense to do so. A lot of organizations avoid knowledge management because they believe that they have too many disparate tools that will not play together well. And if you look at the graphics that show you how you build data sources into configuration management systems and then roll them up into a service knowledge management system, you can see that the expectation is that there will be multiple tools, multiple data sources. Some of those will be structured, some of those will be unstructured, but that it does not necessarily require a very, very expensive tool purchase. And remember, it really is only valuable if the knowledge is easy to retrieve. Okay, on that note, I hope that you've gotten some good insight into knowledge management and understanding the differences between configuration management data and service knowledge management data, and can also see the value of building towards a service knowledge management system.